What's up, everybody? Want to thank everybody that's been coming by. I appreciate you guys. I'm actually getting subscribers every day now, and it feels good. I'm moving to 1,000, moving so quick that man, I'm like ahead of my watch time hours. So all you guys who come over, make sure that you watch some of my longer videos. I got all kinds of content up. You can't watch two of my videos and know what my page is about. I've got so much wisdom, so many things on here to raise your vibration. Um and I want you guys to check it all out. I'm trying to post as much as I can. Obviously I want to get to 1,000, but you know, it seems like that's gonna happen pretty quick. I just am a little concerned about my watch time hours. But anyway, wanted to just say thank you again, and I'm gonna get on into my U.S. Open story. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Uh, I don't talk about my tennis career like you see all these basketball players telling all these stories. Man, I don't know if I've got so many stories to tell about my tennis career and coming up playing tennis as a black kid in the in the early 80s in Georgia. Hello? You talk about stories to tell. The only thing is that I just, people just aren't as interested in tennis. But I still think that I'm starting to get enough people over here where we got one or two people that might want to hear this story. It's a really, really good story. And it's a deep story. And it's one of the things that opened my eyes to what the world really was um, about. Like, see, all these guys, these celebrities that are coming through now, they're just learning that this whole thing is rigged. hmm You know, I learned this at 17. At 17, let's see, was I 17? Yeah, I was 17 years old. I went up to New York to play a junior tournament, and it was where all the top black kids in the country would go. It's called the Arthur Ashe Classic, and it's played at the same facility as the U.S. Open is, right? So I just was going up there just to play a junior tournament. You see what I mean? So I get up there and I played a junior tournament. I won the junior tournament, right? After that, what ended up happening was the tournament, because I was just killing people. Like, I was the top black junior in the nation. Okay. There was a tournament that would have sealed the deal for me on that, but I ended up losing in the nationals. Um, I got second place in the nationals, so I didn't get number one in the state that year. But I was the best black tennis male in the country in 1988. Okay, now you think about that. You talk about these basketball players coming out being the first number one draft pick, right? That was me. I could have gone anywhere I wanted to in the country. All right, but I chose to go to Hampton University. But my back to my U.S. Open story. I get up there, I win the tournament. Right, the tournament director comes over to me. He's like, "Look, we've got the U.S. Open coming up in 3 weeks, and we want you to play in the qualifying for it." I'm a little kid. I'm playing against men from all over the world, right? So he puts me in the qualifying, right, for the U.S. Open, and my mind's blown. First of all, so I get out there. I'm playing against some guy for some other country. I can't even remember the match because it was overwhelming to be in front of that many people at that age. And I won the match, right? So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like fucking being professionals and I'm not even out of high school. This isn't senior year. This is my junior year. Okay? So um I'm like, oh shit. Won the match. Get in my second match. Get out there balling. You know what I'm saying? I'm balling. Won my second match. It's the U.S. Open qualifying, okay? Get to my third match. Boom. Balled on this nigga. Okay? Then the fourth round was, I believe, the money round. That's what happened. And when I played that match, I lost in the fourth round, but of the qualifying. And then when I say qualifying, the US Open is like a huge tournament. So like you have the top 128 players in the world that make the actual tournament. And then they have qualifyings to get to that. So you got 128, 128. So the top 300 people in the world are playing for this number one spot to win the US Open ultimately. Um and this story gets good. This isn't just me talking about, me getting there. It goes deep. And so anyway, I get to the fourth round of the qualifying, and the tournament for now the director for the U.S. Open comes up to me, okay, because he's like, "How's this little kid doing this?" And he's black. You feel me? And I wasn't one of them rich black kids that had the best, coaches or anything. I had to do probably, I would say 60% of my practice was done on my own. I didn't have a coach out there feeding me balls and correcting everything. My parents didn't have money like that. So I had to go out hours and hours, by myself on the court, getting better, practicing my serve, hitting on the wall, running, you name it. I was so fast. It was unbelievable. And so all my training, a lot of my training was done on my own, which made my success mean more to me, actually, because I knew that I was playing against people that were kicking out $1,000 a week on tennis lessons. You see what I mean? I used to have to get, what I would do is I would get to the tennis center early because my parents couldn't afford lessons like that. I would get to the tennis center early and meet my coach there because I knew he would get there maybe 20 minutes early and get him to just feed me balls for 20 minutes. Then when he did his lessons, I would be picking up the balls for him. You see what I mean? And in between lessons, I get 5, 10 minutes, 5, 10 minutes, just trying to get any information I could because I couldn't afford it like that. But anyway, back to my thing here. We didn't know what to do because when I lost in that fourth round um of the qualifying, I'm being clear about saying the qualifying because I hadn't gotten to the main draw. I was qualifying. And so then the tournament director came and he was like, look, if you take the money, you would be considered a professional. And if you're considered a professional, your scholarship to Hampton University will be null and void. So I, I didn't really know what to do in that situation. My thing was, I really didn't feel, and I don't think any kid at that age feels like they're ready to compete against adults like that. And even LeBron James wasn't as confident because he was younger. And so I was like, man, I want to go to college. Cause I was a big time, like, if you guys listen to my videos, I'm a fun motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, I did all this work to get to Hampton University. Like Hampton University, even though it's a black school, in 1989 had the number one tennis team in the nation. It wasn't like I was just going to Hampton because they had bad bitches and I could go for free. Nah, I went there because the tennis team was fucking amazing. You know what I'm saying? I was the only American on my tennis team. Yep, at Hampton University, all black, but the only foreigners there were on the tennis team. And so, anyway, back to the U.S. Open story. I turned down the money, right? I turned down the money, and because I was like, I want to go to college, and I wasn't sure how good I was. There was no way to determine how good I was at that age where you would risk not being able to go to college for free, because I could always go back on the tour. You see what I mean? After college. So my parents told the tournament director, no, we're just going to let him go on to college and you just turn down the money, right? So the tournament director was like, well, hold up. We don't want y'all to go home now. Now, I already been up there 3 weeks. All right. My parents didn't have money like that. So he was like, look, the U.S. Open is going to start in a week, and we want him to play in it. We want him on Arthur Ashe Stadium court in front of 30,000 people because this guy's super talented and he's black. You see what I mean? Like, white people wasn't seeing, they still don't see black people play tennis. It's still a big deal, right? So you could imagine back in 1989, it was a huge deal. You know what I'm saying? For a black kid to come out like that. And so what they did was they set it up where I would play at Arthur Ashe Stadium against another black kid who was also good, but he was in the age group below me. I was playing in the 18s. He was the number one kid in the 16s, and he was black. He was good. Kid named JJ Jackson. And so they set it up where we played each other. Center court, 30,000 people yelling and shit, okay? So I'm back in the US Open locker room, okay? All right, just me. It's not like when you play tennis, it's not like other sports. You don't have anybody to lean on. You don't have nobody to pass to. There's no fucking timeout. There's no fucking halftime. You got to go. And that match could last 3 hours. It ain't no 48-minute bullshit with 16,000 timeout breaks. Okay, and niggas tired and shit over there drinking Gatorade and playing in the air conditioner. It's not like that in tennis at all. It's not like that at all. Mm-mm. So anyway, I'm in the locker room by myself. My parents had to come back to Atlanta because they didn't even have enough money to stay to see their son play at the U.S. Open. Can you imagine that? Ain't that some shit? My parents didn't even get a chance to see me play. But anyway, I'm sitting in this locker room with all this history. You can imagine they've got everybody's picture up in there. When you're walking out to the courts, the hallway it's a long hallway you got to walk down, and at the end you can look out and you can see like a portion of the crowd, and it's like, what the fuck? And I'm walking out there with nobody. I have my coach there, nothing, right? So I'm walking down this long hallway, and they've got all these pictures of all the champions that have come before. And it's just overwhelming for me. I'm a little black kid walking down this hallway, and I'll never forget this. As I got to the end of the hallway, and right when I was about to come into the crowd, where the crowd would be able to see me, there was a man that came around the corner. Yeah, he was the director of the United States Tennis Association. And he said, hey, I need to talk to you for a second. And he pulled me around and up under the bleachers and shit. This is at the U.S. Open, y'all. And I can hear the crowd and everything, but now we're down below the crowd, and he's talking to me. And he said, look, we gave you tons of exposure here. And, we let you play in the U.S. Open. Another thing they did was they introduced me to Arthur Ashe's coach. Okay? While I was up there, I got a chance to take a week of lessons with Arthur Ashe's coach. I was sitting in his house watching black and white films of Arthur Ashe practicing. Shit nobody's seen before. I'm 17 in New York by myself. Okay? I grew up real quick. So the guy is like, look, We gave you all this exposure, right? We let you stay um up here and experience this whole thing because while this 3 week thing was going on, waiting for the U.S. Open to start, I was on the courts there, so I was around professionals that whole time. Just like that's why I'm not starstruck because I've been around them all. You know, McEnroe, all those guys, anybody big, I've been around them. And um, he tells me, he says, look, because we've done all this for you, we want you to do us a favor. And now, see, this is when like sports, not all of it, but sometimes sports is rigged. And I was in a situation where it was rigged. So the guy tells me, look, this guy's just getting to where you were. And what we want to do is we want to promote this kid, right? So we want you to throw the match. Yep. In front of 30,000 people. That dude asked a 17-year-old to let somebody beat them. That's when I started to know that the world, sometimes it ain't always what it seems. Now, I'm a real nigga, right? So I was like, okay, I'll throw the match, right? But when I went out there, that shit ain't in me. It ain't in me. I was like, I was so used to winning that I didn't know what that even felt like to throw a match. You see what I mean? So I went out there and that shit was fucking unbelievable. It ain't nothing like that shit, man. Cause it's so fucking quiet and there's so much pressure on you. It's unbelievable. So basically what happened? I went out there and tried to kick the little kid's ass. But I lost though. I lost. It was a close match, but I lost because I was just so nervous. I could not nail big points because I wasn't used to line judges yelling like that and having ball boys all over the place. It was throwing off my timing. And I ended up losing the match. But I learned so much in that 3 weeks. I learned that, first of all, I learned how good I was. I didn't even know that I was on a professional level at that age. So you could imagine me going into college, right? After I just did that, I'm like, okay, shit, I became All American, everything. I killing motherfuckers in college because of that experience that I had. And then what I did was I went on through college and I did well in college. And once I graduated, that's when I went on the tour. I went out there on the tour and then I did okay. I could have done a lot better. You know what I'm saying? If I wasn't such a party animal. Um, I think my highest win was like 330 in the world, and then I injured myself. I injured my back. But I did want to put this on the record, my U.S. Open story, because I hear a lot of athletes talking about what they did in the past and things like that, and it's cool. But man, you got a lot of people around you. You try rolling up in one of these country clubs in 1982 down here in deep South Georgia. Okay? You try doing that and then you roll up there, your parents drop you off. My parents would drop me off at the front of the center, right? And then I have to go into that tennis center and it ain't nothing but white people. And those people would look at me like I was trash. You see what I'm saying? I would walk in there. I didn't have um all the new tennis rackets and things like that, and Adidas all the way down. Man, I would come in there with with a racket, one racket that I could play with, and the other one in case I broke my strings. It wasn't even the same racket. You see what I'm saying? I have on the T-shirt I got from the last tournament. I didn't have no Adidas on, and I had to walk through that crowd, and I had to go in there and sign in, and I had to hold my head up. And when I first started playing, I wasn't winning. Them white boys used to kick my motherfucking ass. And I used to have to walk out that center with those white people looking at me like I was trash and smirking at me, saying, "Get the hell out of here, nigga." I used to sign up for tournaments every time. I'm not exaggerating. Every single time they would have me playing the number one seed. Meaning I had to play the best person in the tournament first round. Because they would see my name. See, I have an African name. Y'all don't know my name. Some people think my name is Omar Carter. Rambo Red Track spelled backwards. It's not. I have an African name. And I shield my name because, and I always have, very, very few people know my real name. My family and a couple of close friends. That's it. Everybody else that knows me, that I've ever coached, thinks my name is Omar. Yeah. But you try going up into one of these hillbilly tennis centers, they be beautiful, beautiful. Go on down some of these tennis centers I used to go to back in the early '80s with your name being African, and sign up and see who you play first round. And they just do that to a little kid to try to discourage him. You see what I mean? Because they knew if they gave me a chance, I was gonna kick their ass. If they gave me a fair shot, I was gonna kick their ass. And they never gave me a fair shot. And you know what my dad told me? Get your ass out there and practice. Because if you wasn't gonna beat the number one seed anyway, you weren't gonna win the tournament. Get your ass back out there. And see, that's why it's so important to have a father. It's so important to have a father. You know what I'm saying? To give you that backbone when the world comes at you. And so what ended up happening? Well, you already know what ended up happening. I started beating, eventually, it took me a few years. Eventually, I started beating the number one seed. I knocked the number one seed out in the first round. And then what happened? Eventually, who became the number one seed in all these motherfucking tournaments down here in Hillbilly, Georgia? Mm-hmm. 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 You see why I say I'm the baddest man on YouTube? I ain't talking shit. I ain't talking shit. Mm-hmm. I'm the baddest goddamn thing out here. Shit. I may drop some more tennis stories. I got so many good tennis stories. Gosh, I just saw so much, man. You know, there's a basketball star, right? He sees a certain life. I think we all know what it is. It's a whole bunch of basketball and wasted money, right? Tennis is different. Tennis is completely different because when you're playing tennis, it's kind of like golf. As you play tennis, you meet more and more and more important people, and your social circle just gets so diverse. And especially with me, I was from the hood. So I'm going from two different worlds back and forth every day. I'm down in the hood, then I'm going to a country club to practice. I'm doing this, I'm at a tennis center, so I'm at a tournament somewhere. And I'm being exposed at such an early age to success. And when you're hanging around success like that every weekend, right? What are you gonna start wanting? I'm not going I'm not going to play another high school and basketball in the hood. What am I gonna see there? Every weekend I'm going somewhere else. That means that what? My mind was going somewhere else. And my mind was growing at a different speed. that all of the other people at my high school, and everybody recognized it. I was a fucking class clown, but everybody knew how smart I was. They knew that I was exposing myself to something else, and I was able to make tennis cool in the hood. You see what I mean? My friends wasn't like, this nigga playing tennis. Nah, cause every day my name was on the fucking intercom. You see what I mean? And bitches were like, who's Omar? Right? So, um, that's why I can't. That's what I want to do. I'm trying to get this money right. I'm a day trader, and I just kind of got it. So I'm trying to build up the money, but I'm trying to make a lot of money because what I want to do is I want to change the color of tennis, and it wouldn't be hard. It wouldn't be hard at all. But you got to make it cool. You see what I mean? See, Serena Williams was she had the perfect opportunity to make tennis cool for black little girls. You see what I mean? But she didn't know how to do two things at once. All she knew how to do was be a fucking athlete. That's what if you were to sit down with Serena Williams, and I've been around Serena Williams, she doesn't have any real personality. She's a split person. You see what I mean? She didn't keep the same social circle that she had when she was younger as she got to be a professional. She started thinking she was white. You see what I mean? I was never like that. I don't I don't I you know how you have certain black people that talk a certain way around white people, and then when they're around black people they talk differently. You know what I'm talking about? You know those people that switch it up? See, I don't have to switch it up. I don't have to switch it up because the way I talk, it goes both ways. Some black people will be like, listen to the way he talk, but for the most part, when you listen to me talk, I'm gonna be right down the middle of the road. So, like for instance, even if I'm giving a tennis lesson, I'm giving a tennis lesson just like I'm talking to you. I don't have to change when I go to country clubs. I don't have to change and sound white or anything like that. I can just, hey, John, look, you need to make sure that you're getting that ball out in front, man, because every time I see you and you're on the run, you're catching it late and it's going wide. You see what I mean? I don't have to. I can talk to people just like this. I can talk to the most hoodest motherfucker in the world. You see what I mean? And I don't have to be. I don't have to be. Yo, what's up? I don't have to do that. That nigga gonna know I'm real. See what I mean? I don't have to sound like a nigga to be a real nigga. You feel me? So see, I that's the thing. See, Serena is a real nigga, but she thought that she could be accepted if she acted white. You feel me? Cause she really don't have that much experience, that life experience that I have growing up, you know, going out, making it in the world. She really doesn't have that. So she's a split person. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and see if I can get look at all the athletes that play basketball and football that never even get a scholarship. How talented just those people. Forget about taking the top ones. If I can just grab those kids, we'll take over tennis. Forget about getting LeBron James to play tennis, right? Because imagine if LeBron James played tennis, right? Wouldn't that be crazy? You see what I mean? And so, like, that's what I'm going to try and do. Nobody else is doing it. Nobody else that has money, right, thinks that can happen because they never seen it happen. See, I saw it happen firsthand. I did it. I did it. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, yeah, I was talented, but I mean, look at all the athletes we have. There's so many, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of kids that could easily play professional tennis. Now, the one thing that is a handicap that I have with tennis is, and I witnessed it firsthand. Tennis doesn't generate as much money. You see what I mean? Like I said, like the highest win that I had was 330 in the world. You take the number 330 basketball player in the world, that motherfucker's probably a millionaire a few times over in the world, right? See, it's not like that in tennis. So why is it not like that? Because you don't have niggas playing it. If niggas started playing tennis, it would get real exciting. That shit'll get, you know what I'm saying? So where we gotta, at one point, no black people played basketball. And there was a time when nobody was playing basketball that was black. So that's my goal. But it's gonna take a lot of money. It's gonna take a lot of money, to really do that in this kind of a world. It's gonna have to take an independent person that can't be bought and won't sell out. And not end up letting white people take over the whole goddamn thing. See what I mean? I think I can do it. I think I can do it. I've got enough experience coaching. I've taken some kids pretty far. So and I know pretty much all of the black tennis coaches. Not all of them, but I know most of the top black tennis coaches, and if I don't, they know them. So I have the connections to do it, and that's my ultimate goal. Not to be a tennis coach, but to bring it all together where we have different satellites set up in different states where the black kids can go and take the top notch tennis lessons for free. Get the money for them to travel to the tournaments when they start winning. Because that's the one thing that used to cost my parents. The more I won, um, it was just crazy after a while because the hotels and everything like that. Now I got sponsored. I started getting sponsored when I was 16, so that took a lot of pressure off. But I had to start winning before that happened. So anyway, wanted to drop this off and just get the ball rolling on this. I'm going to make a move in 2024 on my program. I will start or have enough money to start the program. I don't know how big it's going to be. Obviously, we're going to probably just start here in Georgia, grab like 5 of the top black kids or whatever, and just start moving them forward, pushing them financially and making sure that they have the correct knowledge to succeed. Because see, in tennis, they don't. If you're a colored person, you go out there with some of these top coaches, they don't have to tell you how to do that shit perfectly. See, that's the whole game. In tennis, see, it's a lot of stuff. Tennis is the hardest sport to learn, I think. But one of the reasons why it's so hard to learn is because the coaches don't give you the actual information that you need. It's hidden. it's only given out to certain people, and so those people can control who's winning in the sport. It's a whole game. hmm It's a big game. So anyway, hey, hope you guys enjoyed my U.S. Open story, and come back, listen to Ramo Red Track, the baddest man on YouTube.